All right. What's up, y'all? It's your boy back again. Today, man, starting off a little late. That's cool. Never late. Means that I'm not busy, but I am. But at the same time, man, let's talk about this crap they talking about with these migrants. Now, a couple months back, they had this one Venezuelan guy talking about how he was getting over squatting, getting all this money. Americans were slaves and all this stuff. So he got supposedly deported, right? Well, I saw a YouTube today, guy that I watched named by the name of Nate the Lawyer, speaking on how Venezuela said they're not going to take back any of their migrants. They're not going to take back any migrants that came to the U.S. So deportation is out of the question. So what's going to happen to these people? And see, I've been saying this stuff since all this junk started in New York, in Chicago, that these people are going to be trafficked. If they can't send them back to their country, where are they going to send them if they're not letting them stay here? And this is the question that people need to be thinking about. Do I want to participate in this? Do I want to be responsible for these people's demise? Because if they can't be free here in America and they can't go back to the country they left from, then what they gonna do with it? You know they've been building up Gitmo for years, and now it looks like a whole freaking city. So you think they just building them up for war on terror, the war that actually we haven't heard about for years now? Seems like after COVID, there's no more terrorist threats. So they were just building up Gitmo, Guantanamo Bay, for just shits and giggles. Now, a lot of these people are going to be uh, visiting these places in the near future, and nobody's going to stand up for them. Salute, Bobby. Nobody's going to stand up for these people, man. They came here, you know, through the pipeline, listening to people talk about, you know, America being this and America being that. They come here and they get everything they're looking for, and then all of a sudden they're hated by the entire nation. Sounds familiar. It sounds like some stuff that happened back in the day, a long time ago, with the people we can't talk about. You know, so I'm looking at this right now. This situation right now is going to escalate to that same thing. But in modern times, with our communication practices, it's going to be way quicker. It's going to be way worse. Now, if they can't deport these people back to Venezuela or back to any of the countries that they migrated through to get to America, they're going to get them off the streets by any means necessary. Now, I don't know what they have planned for these people other than housing them and holding them. If Venezuela don't want them back, then what they going to do? They're gonna go through the process in jail. They're gonna go through the immigration process behind bars. So this is something, man, that nobody's been thinking about. All they've been doing is bashing these people since they got here because of these politicians, you know, making these people seem like they are privileged individuals. That's the shit that's driving a wedge through people. Americans don't want people sharing the benefits of being an American unless you are an American. That's always been like that. So stand by to stand by. I don't think nobody's going to report on that. And I'm putting myself at risk by reporting on it because they don't like people pointing out the truth on YouTube. So if you're pointing out the truth, you're going to get shut up. I don't know how many times I've been struck for some stuff that I was like, I thought this was, was legal. I thought you could talk about stuff like this. It's not violating any guidelines. But apparently, the algorithms, I say rhythms, because it ain't nothing but a bunch of people watching your videos that's hired by YouTube. Contact tracing is still real, man. Contact tracing is still real. This shit is alive. It ain't dead. You still got people up in here doing this covert snitching on each other for everything. Anything you doing. It could be your relatives because they getting paid to do it. The old days of being a CI is over. All of that shit is over. Going to jail snitching is done. They don't need jailhouse snitches no more. They don't need motherfuckers to make a deal no more. So all that shit that these guys is talking about on YouTube right now, that's bullshit. Ain't nobody snitching. They don't need you to snitch. Nigga, all they gotta do is listen to your phone calls, read your text messages. Every phone call you make on a cell phone, salute Q. Every cell phone you make, every call you make on your cell phone is recorded. Even this shit I'm doing right now is recorded. There's no phone call. If you have the cloud connected to your phone, there's no phone call that's private. There's no emails. There's no text. None of this shit is private. That's why it don't pay to put this shit, any personal information on these phones. If you putting personal information on these phones and you worried about somebody monitoring you, some government entity monitoring you and shit, you too late. You can put all the foil on your windows and block out the EMFs all you want. That shit is not gonna work. It's not gonna work. It didn't work back when we had UHF and VHF, so what makes you think it's gonna work right now with this 5G shit, which is just another version of UHF and VHF? So it just make me wonder, how far are we gonna allow this shit to go before logical people say enough is enough? They know that these people came here, they ain't have shit, so you just gonna go take them from nothing and give them not something, just give them abundance? That's not how it works, man. Once you get these people accustomed to a certain lifestyle, they're not gonna want to go back to what they had. So by any means necessary, they're gonna get it. This is the next wave of criminals coming to the United States. And it's not gonna be criminals from other countries that were criminalizing shit over there. It's gonna be American grown criminals. Because you bring these people here, you give them thousands of dollars right from crossing the border, give them all these vouchers, and then cut them off cold turkey. You think they just gonna sit there and be like, oh well, we got what we got, we just gotta live with nothing? No, them people are gonna go out and they're gonna exploit the system the way it's been getting exploited by people from other nations illegally though. So man, this shit is gonna blow up, and these people are gonna be ostracized by the nation. They have already become ostracized, and then they're gonna just start disappearing. There ain't gonna be no more reports on Gitmo, none of that shit. That's gonna be the new FEMA camp. See, everybody's scared about FEMA camps. You think they're gonna put a FEMA camp in your state so you can have your peoples come and try to break you out and have the American people overthrow these camps and destroy them? Hell no. Everything they do, they have a designated area for it. When they want to go fight their wars, guess where they go fight them at? In one of these podunk-ass jungles or one of these dry-ass deserts. They're not fighting this shit in cities and states that have an economy and a GDP. They're not doing that. People never wonder why. They're not going to destroy their good shit, their infrastructure, just to play games. And they're going to do the same thing with these motherfuckers, these camps. You think they're going to put a camp up so everybody can see it and be like, get frustrated with it and then say enough is enough? No, they're going to put that shit out of sight, out of mind. You're not going to be able to see it. But, you know, that's a whole different situation because people that are in position to help these people aren't helping them. They should do something on their own. You know, for one, stop coming to somewhere that you don't know if you're going to have enough to survive. Why would you walk? And this is another thing I don't think is real. Why would you walk thousands of miles, or not even that, hundreds of miles, to come to a place and not even know if you're going to have any way of surviving? Any way of surviving. That's like a kid just wandering off from his house and getting lost and just staying out in the fucking streets and just, you know, I came here, I don't know why I'm at, I don't know what to do, and just expecting somebody to help you. That shit right there is crazy. That's insane. That should tell you the mindset that a lot of these people coming here are in. They are in an insane mindset. And see, they're willing to go through anything to chase some kind of, you know, story that they heard about coming to America. You know, so a lot of this stuff is going to happen because of them. It's not going to happen because of American society. It's going to happen because when you have unrealistic goals and you don't know the outcome of your activities, then you subject to any type of consequence. And it ain't got to be the real consequences that the activity, you know, produces. It could just be some dirty motherfucker want to treat you bad because of who you are. And that shit happens a lot around the world, let alone in America. So, you know, enough of talking about that because y'all ain't gonna see it until it starts happening. And then when you do, you know, it's like water running off a duck's back. Y'all ain't gonna remember this shit that I'm talking about anyway. So let's just move on to something that y'all might remember. You know, for instance, like these religions that these guys are trying to get rid of. Man, look, everybody that's trying to get rid of Christianity, Islam, and any other religion is replacing it with another one. See, and the one that they're replacing it with is not even solidified. And if it was, it's been proven to be obsolete a long time ago. That's why we, you know, established these religions that we have and our grandparents and great-grandparents had all these years. So you mean to tell me, right, that your great-grandparents and your grandparents and your parents didn't know about ancestry? Man, we gotta be stupid if we think that these people lived all that time and created a way of life around Christianity, didn't know about ancestry. Ancestors. But I know one thing they realized, that their ancestors weren't living the way they want them to live. They weren't living the way people want to live right now today. And they ain't never going to live that way. That's why they call ancestors. They gone. They didn't leave behind any infrastructure that people could hold on to and say is viable to carry on in the future. If your ancestors left something behind that was valuable enough for you to carry forward and use today and benefit from it, we would be doing it right now. See? But they created a life around Christianity, and that shit carries families all the way up until now. Still carrying families. And people want to discard it and throw it out like it ain't worth shit. And then go back to the old things, claiming that before slavery, man, I swear, man, it's like motherfuckers think that they waking up, but they ain't doing nothing but falling into a deeper trance, into another dream. The dream then turn into a nightmare, to another dream, to a nightmare, and they never waking up. The woke community and the conscious community is shit. They shit. They ain't doing nothing but trying to piggyback off of something that actually works. Christianity and all these religions actually work. So guess what they're going to do? They're going to tear down his name and put another name on top of it, but keep all the services in worship. What kind of crap is that? See, and this is the reason why they can do shit like this is because the people that's running these programs, man, they sick. They sadistic. Look at all these preachers, man. Instead of running the program the way it was designed, build fellowship, build camaraderie, morality, discernment. That's what they were supposed to be building in these communities. But no, man. That's what happens when you put your faith in one motherfucker amongst thousands. I would say millions, but amongst thousands. And I'm not even sure that it is even thousands. But that's what happens when we put our faith in one and don't share the responsibility in building a nation. See, every church is actually its own little nation. But they put their faith in one motherfucker in the church. The preacher, the pastor. And he's a deviant, gone saint. Well, you don't think a deviant, gone saint is going to backpedal, backstep, and fall back into the same shit that he did before he became a saint? And this is how these guys get up here on YouTube and are able to talk shit about Christianity and Islam and all the other religions and say that they are pseudo or mythological and shit. See, because for one, they don't know how to understand. They know how to read, but they don't know how to understand. Anytime you have to study something and you don't have study materials to go along with that subject, you ain't studying. You fooling around and shit. Motherfuckers say they study these religions, but they only use the book that they use, the book that they have from the religion to study. That don't make no sense. See? And it's all cloaked in mystery and shit. When a motherfucker get ready to talk about the ancestors, it's all mysterious. Why your ancestors the only one talking to you? Everybody else, they ain't have no ancestors. It's you, right? And your ancestors giving you information about how bad our traditions are. Man, screw that shit. The ancestors didn't do shit that lasted. If they did, the shit that they did do that lasted, y'all want to try to get rid of that. And that's the foundation that all this shit's sitting on. All this shit sitting on is the foundation that all our grandparents and great-grandparents dealt with. It's sitting on top of this shit. All the situations. See? But we sitting up here acting like, no, it's not them ancestors. It's the older ancestors. Back when we were hunter-gatherers. Well, let me let you in on a secret. We was never no fucking hunter-gatherers. We never was out there hunting animals with skins and shit, bro. Civilization has always existed since men existed. Men have always discovered, remedies and solutions for shit that they had problems for. The first man and the first woman didn't sleep outside with no damn skins on and no leaves around their waist. That shit you see in the movies. And we have houses today and apartment dwellings today. That's the same shit the ancestors had back in the day. Neighborhoods and all that shit. See, the people that we're mimicking ourselves after are the same people that we say are destroying our culture. We got black people today want to be Indians. Guess what? That's the same people they say they trying to mimic themselves after the same people that they say stole their identity. That don't even make no sense. How you gonna say somebody stole your identity, but you envy their identity? See, without the Indians, we wouldn't have no idea of all these primitive dress, feathers, and all that shit. We wouldn't have no idea of that. Because, see, you ain't got to dress up in costume to be somebody. And what people do is they mimic shit that they admire. They criticize shit that they admire, hoping to get it down to a level that they could be at least on the same par with it. So looking at somebody that they envy would be just like looking at them. And it don't make no sense, man. It don't make any sense to try and wait all these years and try to say, no, we the Indians. Man, that don't make no sense when they don't even realize that the Indians, right, are the pilgrims. In order to be an Indian, you got to be on a pilgrimage. Why do you think they was living in teepees? Everywhere they went, they took their home with them. That was a pilgrimage. And then once they stopped the pilgrimage, that's what they did. They ended it. They Indianed it. They ended the pilgrimage and settled where they could. And see, the people that understand this, they don't even waste their time talking to us. They don't even waste their time talking to us. And then when we contact these people to try to get them to verify or authenticate us, we are stupid, man. You don't ask the person that you're claiming is the thief to teach you about what they stole. If they stole it from you, you should automatically know that who you are without even fucking giving any attention to them. But we don't do that. We don't do that. If them Indians today on the reservation came out and said all black people are just like us, we accept y'all. They would drop all that bullshit they talking about, $5 Indian and all that shit, and they would go over there and fellowship with them people. Mark my words. Them people open up their doors today, say, hey, we're going to let y'all in into our communities, and we're going to accept y'all as parts of our tribes. Ain't none of these people going to deny that shit. That's some sellout shit. And it's a betrayal. It's a betrayal to all the people that's listening and following that shit. If you want to make a tribe, anybody can make a tribe. It's a corporation. It's a government entity. All Indians are government workers. Believe it or not, they on government salary. They federal and state workers. And we up here telling these people that they ain't who they say they are when they exactly who the fuck they say they are. They exactly who the fuck they say they are. These people are nomadic pilgrims traveling on the land and the sea. The whole story of the pilgrims was pilgrims welcoming other pilgrims in to the society that they started. And the society that they started was just a society that lived off the land. That's it. That's what the whole Thanksgiving shit was about. Thanks for letting us live on the land and not have to worry about motherfuckers coming and trying to kick us off. And guess what? The new pilgrims that come along, we're going to give them the same courtesy that you gave us. And that's exactly what they're doing. Thanks and giving. But see, when you got a bunch of people that don't want to work for what they have or what they need, that want to just reap the benefits and culture vulture off other people whenever they get a chance to, then that's what you have right now. That's what you have right now. Instead of getting like it. You don't have to, look, black people, y'all don't have to tell Indians that they're not Indians in order to become an Indian. All you got to do is get off your ass and go fill out the paperwork to start a tribe, and then get a bunch of people to join your tribe and start paying your dues. That's it. And you can open up a casino, all of that shit. But no, we want motherfuckers to give us their shit. It ain't yours, so give it to us. See, that's some crazy shit, man. That's some crazy shit. And then I hear people talking about, the reason why we ain't looked at as the real Indians because we don't make nothing, we don't build nothing. And I don't understand why the hell y'all don't see the play. Why y'all don't see the play? The Indians don't make nothing or build nothing either. They don't make nothing or build nothing. All that shit is made by other people. See? And what's wrong with that? What's wrong with not making nothing and other people making it for you? See, this should be a lesson for all the people that ride that old train of slavery, that old slave train. This should be a lesson for them. See, a slave is somebody that works for other people and builds for other people and labor for other people. And ain't that what they doing for us? Building, laboring, and working for us? Because they make everything. See, and that's even a fucking misconception. Because we don't even realize, we think we get everything from overseas. But if you ain't never been to overseas, then you wouldn't recognize that we can't use the same shit they use overseas that we use over here. None of the fucking cars from overseas are left side driving. None of them. They're all right side driving. None of the TVs, none of the refrigerators, none of the appliances that are built overseas work on 120. They all work on 240. So what they doing when they get all that fucking shit that's European converted over here to America? What are they doing? Oh, they tearing it all apart and changing it for the American population? No, dumbass. No, they're not doing that. And see, I don't understand why people don't understand that when we buy shit from other people, it is not built overseas. They have people over here that build it for us. That's what they mean by we get everything from fucking other countries. The people that's building it over there, they come here and build it. So what does that mean when you have somebody that leaves their country to come and work for another country and its people? Sounds similar, huh, to slavery, right? Sounds similar to taking some people from another land to make them come and work and toil on your land, right? See, man, I don't understand people. They be up here talking that stupid shit. Whew. Quit. Went over my time. But look, I don't understand people, man. Why would you sit up there and badmouth a system that only benefits you, takes care of you, supplies you with everything you need, and in some cases pays for it? That's why these immigrants are coming over here, because we have a bunch of ungrateful cocksuckers up over here that don't care about the hard work that was put in to build these systems. They want to tear down something that they have no idea how it was built. That's why they fucking can't tear it down. That's why you'll never be able to tear down anything. That's why you'll never be able to destroy this system, and I'm glad for it. I hope you die trying to support anybody that's trying to tear down the system, because your grandparents and your great-grandparents built this shit, and they built it with religion. The same religions that your dumbass out here talking about ain't even worth your time, that you trying to replace with another religion that ain't got no substance. The mother goddess. Bullshit. Matriarch. I hear these people talking about this shit. We live in a patriarchal system. No, we don't, dumbass. We live in an equal system where matriarchal and patriarchal people can coincide together and have their own opinions and fucking be able to thrive regardless if one falls or the other. See, and this is this is why a lot of people are suffering right now. It's because it's self-inflicted suffering. And you know what happens when you self-inflict pain upon yourself? You got to deal with it. Deal with it. There's nobody to blame. You can't go and get no recourse. You can't take it out on nobody. That's why it's so hard for these guys that be getting locked up to go back and say, I'm going to sue the government. Hold on. If you are wrongfully imprisoned and people took advantage of you, right? Illegally. And everybody knows it. How hard do you think it would be to start a case? How hard do you think? Man, we got civil rights coming out of our ass. We got people want to stand up and say blacks did this, blacks did that, and got done like this and got done like that. We got an overwhelming amount of people that are willing to stand up and say and do anything to prove that black people are underprivileged. And you mean to tell me you get locked up and you say you're innocent and you get out and you can't go and get a lawsuit against the state when the state has been sued thousands of times and have settled thousands of times as well. But you're the only one. And I keep hearing these stories from individuals are wrongfully accused, or wrong for this, or wrong for that, locking people up and all. Man, look, if you wouldn't have did this shit to get locked up, you wouldn't have never felt like you were taken advantage of. See, because anytime you self-inflict your pain, ain't nobody you can blame about that. And it'd be too late to change your mind, because most of these people that go to jail anyway, they're not gonna change their way. Not into the point where they either have an instance with death, or they get locked up for a long ass time to when they get out, that shit, life then passed them by. They can't even get back into the same bullshit that they was in that they could, because now it's a new type of fucking crime. And that's what's happening to these people. And then we have the pseudoscientists that say that DNA proves that a lot of these people are innocent. That's what's in prison for all these years. Bullshit. If DNA proved it, why DNA proving it now and didn't prove it then? Oh, because they didn't have the technology they had. What, they couldn't do a blood test? Because that's what the DNA test is, a fucking blood test. Them niggas giving you a glorified maternity test and telling you it's DNA. Nigga, man, come on, bro. We gotta wake up and stop falling for the stupid shit. Same shit that they be doing for these people that be looking for their ancestors on Ancestry. And they have you put cotton swab in your mouth and fucking send it off to them, and then they tell you how much of this species of human, how much of this species of human, how much of that species of human you have inside your body. That is so much bullshit. DNA is just a glorified maternity test. If they checking your DNA to another DNA, it's either going to be you or somebody in your family that they comparing it to. That's what they doing. Ain't no DNA test out there that can pick up a random sample that they have no record of and say, this is who it is and this is who it's not. Man, get out of here with that shit. And believe it or not, DNA, it comes from fluids and liquids of the human body that in nature don't last that very fucking long. Don't last that long. I don't care if you do have a way of re-moistening some fucking blood. That shit is not gonna be viable for them to test. You see, they can't test one blood sample against another blood sample, especially if one of them's dead. It's only living blood samples that they can test with one another. And that's the only way they can test for DNA is with an active version of DNA, which is another blood test, a glorified blood test. So I'm just saying this, man, because we don't have that many people that be talking about real shit, because they're afraid, first of all, that YouTube gonna shut them down, and then two, that the community that they're in is so fucking brainwashed that they will disown them in a second as soon as they figure out that, hey, you're not supporting the lie like we are. You're not caught up in the delusion like we are. So you ain't one of us. So let's get rid of them. And see, that's what everybody should be striving to do. Everybody should be striving to be individuals and not part of a group, because most of these groups are filled with ignoramuses and pseudoscientists and psychotic individuals that would rather see you burn than give you a drink of water of truth. Man, they would rather see you burn instead of giving you the truth so you can drink it and live. So, it's hard to talk around all of these boundaries, man. It's hard to talk around these boundaries. You got to worry about YouTube. You got to worry about society. And then you got to worry about the people you socialize and fellowship with too as well. So who can you trust in all of this bullshit? You. That's the only person you can trust. So, hey, cherish that motherfucker, take care of him, and give him the benefit of the doubt any chance you can get. And yeah, salutes to the real ones.